Would you like to know how you can add a ton of full fee patients even if you're heavily into PPOs? And the answer is you can, and that's exactly what we're going to cover right now. You want to target market services that are not covered by insurance. So even if a patient has insurance, if you can target market, and you can, those treatments and services that aren't covered, there's a really good chance that you'll be able to do that at 100% fee. Now, I say really good chance because there's about 44, 45 states now. There's only about 5 or 6 left that don't have the Non-Covered Services Act. You want to look at my last live stream where I went into some detail on that, or you can just shoot me something in the comments and ask, tell me more about the non-covered services, and I can go into that as well. The point is, about 44, 45 states have a Non-Covered Services Act, which means that in those states, if you're treating a patient and the insurance company that you're with, your network company, doesn't cover that particular service, a non-covered service, 50% of the time, you can charge full fee. Now, you would assume it's 100% of the time. Again, I'm not going to rehash everything I've gone into to explain that because I did do it in a prior video, and I'll get you access to that complimentary. Just let us know that you need that if you didn't see it before. But the reason that it's 50% of the time is because roughly half of the PPO insurance plans are not covered by state. They're covered by federal law. So just make sure you're doing the right thing. I don't want you guys to get yourselves in trouble because you think, oh, I can charge full fee. Because even with a Non-Covered Services Act, about half the time you can't. All right, having said that, about half the time you can. So target market treatments and services that aren't covered by insurance. So what are some of the things that aren't covered by insurance typically? And it varies contract to contract, but some of the ones that are pretty obvious would be adult ortho. There's very few, if any, PPOs that are going to cover adult ortho. Invisalign, ClearCorrect, SMS, 6-month smiles, anything to do with ortho for adults. There's a wide range of services right there that are fun to do, lucrative. Your patients are looking for them. And when you target market those patients and bring them in many cases, you're going to be able to charge full fee for that. So that's a really nice boost to your practice. One of my favorites was cosmetic dentistry. Having been accredited by the American Academy of Cosmetic Dentistry and served as an examiner for 6 years for ACD accreditation, I love doing cosmetic dentistry, and who doesn't? I mean, everybody loves doing cosmetic dentistry. So target market cosmetic dental care, and the vast majority of that is going to be actually, I don't know any PPO that's going to cover things that are just for aesthetics or cosmetics. In many contracts, placement of implants, the surgical portion of implants, may not be covered. Again, you got to know your contracts. And if you know of any others, type into the chat. Go ahead and type into the chat or type into the comments, or whatever platform you're looking at. If it's on the video, type in some other services that are typically not covered, and share those with us as well. All right, so I'm going to go through, like a laser, bullet by bullet, a whole wide range of things that you can do. And again, you can get the checklist later by just typing in seniors into the chat here. So one of the first things to do would be to create your community. And let's say you're in Boston. So it would be the Boston Seniors Health Alliance. The Boston Seniors Health Alliance. If you're in Oshkosh, it would be the Oshkosh Seniors Health Alliance. Sounds pretty official. It is pretty official. So what is this alliance that you're going to create? Well, I would look for 5, and there's no magic number. You could do it with 4 or 6 or whatever, but I'd look for about 4 or 5 non-competing health professionals that seniors would love to have access to information and whatever. So could be a nutritionist. That would be really, really good for seniors. Certainly, it could be a physician, certainly physicians who help with Alzheimer's, dementia, anything to do with seniors and health. Chiropractic is another really big one. Physical therapy. I mean, I just named about 5 of them right there. I don't know how many I did, but probably 5 or 6 of them right there. And guess what? You're going to be the only dentist in the group because it's your group. So you're going to have, and I wouldn't make it a huge group. I only want 5, 6. You want to make this something that's credible, that has other people in it, and that's bringing out other information. And then you create a newsletter. And as you guys know, you can use AI to do a lot of your newsletter work today. And maybe we'll do that on a future live stream. But the point is, create a newsletter, and then you physically mail it. I'd have an online version, but I would also physically mail it. And the reason I would physically mail it would be, depending on the age of the seniors, some of them might not be that much online. Some of them are. A lot of them are, actually. It would blow your mind if you knew how many seniors are on Facebook. It would blow your mind. It's a great platform for seniors. And we're going to talk about that in a minute as well. All right, so you're going to send out a monthly newsletter. And there will be one article by each of the providers or practitioners. So if you're, let's say I was in Framingham and Worcester. So let's say I did this in the Worcester office. It would be the Worcester Seniors Health Alliance. And then the newsletter would go out, and it would have my article, a cover article. It would then have articles from the chiropractor and from the physician who works with Alzheimer's or seniors and so forth. Certainly anything to do with stress and stretching and aging and anti-aging and all that would be wonderful. So that newsletter, by the way, you'll coordinate it. You'll put it all together. They're going to write the articles. You only have to write one article. You'll edit it, put it together, have somebody put it together for you. And then it's not going to cost you a penny to mail. Even if you're mailing it to 500, 1,000 seniors, whatever your mailing list becomes, it's not going to cost you a penny to mail. Why not? Because you're the one who's writing it and putting it together, and that's part of the group rules. So if there's 7 of you total, 7 practitioners, you're going to take all the costs and divide them by 6, and you do the work and they do the paying. And by the way, they'll be happy to be on board when you tell them that I'm only going to be accepting one. Let's say it's chiro, or let's say it's physical therapy. Only going to be accepting one in the community. I'd love to have you with us. And here's what we're going to be doing. I'll be doing all the work. You guys will be funding the stamps and the postage and putting these newsletters into the mail. And my staff will take care of that for you. In addition to building a list in other ways, one of the ways that I would build a list would be put the list together of all 7 of those practitioners' existing patients. And you have to figure out a way HIPAA-wise that you'll be able to get that mailed, but that you can figure out. All right, so what about Facebook senior groups? Yes and no. There's plenty of them out there, but the issue with Facebook senior groups and Facebook ads, and by the way, this will work. So I'm not saying don't do this. And in fact, if you want to do everything possible, if you're like me and you just want to take everything and just throw it against the wall and do it the best you can and do it as fast as you can and get it all out there, then I would do that. But if you said, nah, I'm just looking for a couple things to do and whichever you think are going to work the fastest and best, then I wouldn't be initially targeting the Facebook senior groups or Facebook ads for seniors. Why? Oh, by the way, first of all, let me explain why seniors. Because a high percentage of seniors are retired, and a very high percentage of those who retire lose their health, and at least they lose their dental benefits. Maybe they have some ongoing health with Medicare and so forth. But dental benefits, a very high percentage of seniors don't have dental insurance, which means that they are full fee, full pay, regardless of which plans you're in for your PPOs. So that's why it's so important, to be targeting seniors. So if not Facebook ads and if not Facebook groups, then where would I go first? And that would be Google AdWords. Now, why would I do this on Google versus Facebook? Real simple. Even though your target market is on Facebook, and they haven't raised their hand at that point. They haven't said, I really need to replace these dentures, and I wish there was something that I didn't need to use all the adhesive. Obviously, I'm going towards implants here. Or maybe they have teeth and they're just looking to improve their smile. One of my favorite patients was 84 when I met him. He was quadriplegic, and he had been injured in World War II. So he was injured as a kid, and he'd been in a wheelchair. And we started at age 84 with a smile makeover and a rehab, and he was amazing. So there's some amazing dentistry to be done for some wonderful people who are of that age, anything from 60s and above. All right, so why Google? Well, because when you target market on Google AdWords, you are target marketing specific keyword searches for people who are looking for what it is you want to offer. So if that's Invisalign, if it's ClearCorrect, if it's something with seniors, whatever it is, whatever you target market on Google, those people have actually raised their hands. So they are already 2 or 3 steps beyond now they found you, now they get to know you. And with the newsletters, that will happen as well. But the other cool thing about the newsletters, even if you didn't add anybody to the list other than that of the 5 or 6 practitioners who are in the group, let's say each practitioner has I don't know, 1,500 to 2,000 patients, active patients, you now have 10,000 newsletters going out with your story in it. And by the way, when I say your story, your articles every month, and each of those articles, of course, has a call to action with a special offer and a time deadline. Write that down. If you just put in articles, you will never see anything coming back. Everything you do in marketing has to have a call to action. Do this. Here's what you want them to do. Call my office or email us or go online, whatever it is, call to action. And it also should have a deadline and maybe some kind of a special offer as well. All right, so that's why Google Ads. Unfortunately, we lost a wonderful Freedom Summit member just a couple of years back, Dr. George Cochran, but I know that he would be proud of me sharing something that he did, which was amazing to attract hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of seniors to his practice. So George was practicing, I believe, in Napoleon, Ohio. And George says to himself, in Napoleon, Ohio, in the middle of the winter, the seniors don't get out much. They just don't. It gets cold, it gets snowy, and he said, I would love to do something to give back to the community, and maybe, this was not really a marketing thing at the time, but it turned into something amazing. And he called it the Senior Snowball Dance. Write that down. He came up with the whole thing. I helped him with the marketing, but he came up with the concept. And then each year, he and I together would kind of refine the marketing, and he grew this thing to where he would have over 300 people show up. He had no idea how it was going to blow up. And he also got so many different vendors to donate the stuff. There were people donating the food for the event. There were bands that would come in and play, and there were local corporations who would sponsor with huge door prizes, very expensive door prizes, and the seniors loved the food and the dancing and the free prizes and the raffles, and it was an amazing event. Now, did he get patients? Yeah, he got tons of patients, but that wasn't even his main drive. His main drive was to do something to give back to seniors. But it worked out that he ended up doing it every year, and it was a Senior Snowball Dance. And as I said, we lost him, but he was an amazing guy, wonderful human being. Do you have to have 300 people show up? No. What if you had 50 people show up or 80 people? You can do these things. You just need to start planning them. All right. Let's say you wanted to do mailings to seniors who were at a certain socioeconomic level. Then you could speak with a list broker and ask them to give you a list that cross-references age, so I might go 62 and above or 65 and above, with AARP members, retired people, so AARP with age, and with readers of the Wall Street Journal or readers of the New York Times. So you can choose what it is you want them to read. I mean, you can do it with readers of the Robb Report, but it's going to be a very small list. Very wealthy people or people who would like to be wealthy but aren't. So I don't know if the Robb Report would work well. I wouldn't do that. I do Wall Street Journal for obvious reasons. All right. So, pardon my voice. Advertising or sponsoring senior center newsletters. I kind of stumbled on this by accident. It was really kind of cool. I went to the first senior center that I went to was a Callahan Senior Center in Framingham, and they said to me, well, we do have a newsletter, but there's no advertising in it. It's just, we print it ourselves and we pay for everything, and we mail it to all of our seniors in the community, all of our ambulatory seniors who come into the Callahan Center from time to time. So I said, well, you said, you got no sponsors. What if I took the back page and I covered half your printing cost and whatever? So I don't know, I gave them $1,000 a month, whatever it was. I had the back cover and I was the only advertiser. So even if they don't take advertising, you may be able to get in there just by offering to cover a chunk of it. Another great idea was during one of our Freedom Summit coaching members retreats, it was Dr. Chris Phelps. Chris gave a great presentation on how he does wine and cheese events, to attract seniors into his practice, and he goes out into the community to wherever they're meeting. So whether it's independent living centers, whether it's things like the Callahan Senior Center, they're meeting and doing stuff, and they're looking for new stuff to do. And so when you bring in wine and cheese and you sponsor and you bring them gifts, a little gift bag and an offer, that stuff can be really cool, and you can get a lot of new patients that way as well. Excuse me. I did one that frankly, very few of you are going to want to do, but if you did it, it would be huge. I went out and I bought a used van, and I had it repainted so it looked brand new. It was in great shape, so it looked brand new now with the new paint. And I had it lettered on the side, and it said, Center for Aesthetic Dentistry, Senior Courtesy Shuttle. And then, of course, it had our contact information and so forth. So if I were doing that today, I wouldn't even have somebody letter that. I would just have it wrapped with the senior, because you can have cars or vans wrapped really nicely today. So again, Senior Courtesy Shuttle. I hired a driver, and he was on radio back then. Today, we had a FM business radio, but today you'd do it with a cell phone. And he would just drive the seniors to our visits. And I always told him, I'd say, look, I said, if you have a little bit of time in between runs, no patient to pick up for half hour, an hour, tell the senior you're dropping off that if they want to go to the grocery store, you'll stand by and just take them to the grocery store and then bring their stuff in. And they love that. This was like a VIP service. Didn't cost us anything extra. The guy was already on the road and doing the runs. And so, again, not many people are going to take the time. Not many dentists would do this, and that's why it's so effective, because you're going to be marketing in a vacuum with that. I would sponsor monthly health and wellness, fitness series at local senior centers, yoga. You could do nutrition. Now, if you've created that health alliance that we talked about a little bit earlier, what I would do is I would bring in each of those people to do a chat. And so you would introduce them. You're the MC. This is your gig. So you're the MC. And those are going to go over really well. And now you don't even have to come up you could do maybe one every fifth or sixth, but you're introducing, and you're also giving, free goodies. And of course, you're making special offers, as do all of the guys in the group, guys and ladies in the group. Dr. Terry Cribbs, who is one of our Freedom Summit members and a real mover and shaker when it comes to marketing or practice, she did a great series of letters to Alzheimer's physicians. Freedom Summit members, you get access to that on the Insider Circle website. But Terry did a great series of letters where she would reach out. And it's interesting because not only did she build that part of her practice, but today she's focusing on pediatric sleep apnea. So it's interesting. She's kind of capturing both ends of that spectrum there. I would do health screening days, cancer screenings, perio, blood pressure, pulse oximetry, and then take that report, create a report of all that stuff. So you've got oral cancer screening, periodontal screening, which, by the way, as you guys know, with anybody of any age, periodontal disease, periodontitis can be fatal. Not in itself. You don't usually die from gum disease, but a study came out in perio.org that said that and it was not a small study, not anecdotal, like 10 people. There were 536 patients studied. And what they found was that if you have periodontitis and you get COVID, you don't have a 10% increase. You don't have a 30% increase. You have a 300% increase, 3 times higher likelihood of fatality from COVID if you have periodontitis. Now, seniors have multiple other things that will make that even worse. And so, whether it's diabetes or dementia. So yeah, free health screenings, and then put together a report of everything that you found and create a template so you can do it quickly and easily, and send it to their physicians and let the physicians know that if they need anything from you for feedback for that patient or help with any patients, you're there for them. Very few dentists do this or do it on any consistent basis. So I'd be reaching out to every physician of every senior, not only the ones who come in for the screenings, but of all your senior patients. By the way, when you're doing these, you can get PSAs, public service announcements, for free on radio and sometimes TV, and certainly in newspapers as well. So again, whether you're watching live or you're watching one of the video replays on the different platforms, if you type seniors into the comments or chat wherever you're watching this, we will get you that senior. Actually, it's not just seniors. It's a whole cheat sheet, a checklist of how to get tons of new fee-for-service patients. Everything I'm covering today and more, and then you'll have your checklist ready to go. And if you'd like to, reduce your dependence on PPOs, you want to do more of your best care without your PPOs interfering and without them taking a chunk of it because of the terrible fees. And if you want to increase your collections by a couple $100,000 or more, you want to get more of your best dentistry being accepted by your patients, My team and I have set aside some time in the next few days to speak with you. And who are the calls for? They're for general dentists who are the owner of your practice. And what we'll do is we'll help you schedule a complimentary breakthrough strategy session. And you can go to PPO Exit. It's PPO EXIT. In fact, Jim, if you're watching, if you can type PPO Exit, www.ppoexit.com into the chat, that would be great. And if not, they can write PPO Exit into a browser and find it. But it's ppoexit.com, and I will guarantee you that it will be the best 60 minutes you've ever spent working on your practice. Even if we don't end up working together, you're going to get tons of value, massive value, and real clarity on exactly which would be the next steps that you would take in order to begin to reduce your dependence on PPOs. So use that link. It's PPO Exit. And remember, folks, you're only one gem away. I'm hoping you're having a wonderful weekend. And thanks for being with me here in PPO Exit. Take care.